Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another daily cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get right into the information today. So, as no surprises, as we have been saying for quite a while now, the S&P 500 stocks just hit record highs today. Are we seeing the parallels between now and the 2008 crash? Money is being artificially inflated into the economy. Companies, these banks are buying back the stocks, stock buybacks, and they are pushing the price artificially high, creating this illusion. It is all disproportionate. We associate a strong stock market with a healthy economy, but in reality, we've never been further from the truth. It is the exact opposite. Everything is being pulled over our eyes, not to sound like a conspiracy channel, but I want you guys to stick around and actually listen to what I have to say. If you disagree, comment down below, but please, please, please do your own research. Do not take everything I say, as gospel or whatever you want to say. Take it with a grain of salt, just like everybody. Do your own research and let me know. If you disagree, that's fine, but please give me an actual reason. And without further ado, let's get a little more into this information. So I know a lot of you probably do follow Greg Mannarino. I always do kind of keep my eye on him, see what he does, watch the market, listen to the updates, keep an eye on precious metals, oil, you name it, various commodities. And, he's claiming that we're going to go significantly higher, and I do trust his years of experience. He thinks that we're going to go a lot higher. Stocks are going to go even higher. He knows, the government is loving this. It's looking good for, on the political agenda as well. I have no political viewpoint, of course, but we're expecting some volatility on Wednesday as well during the new monetary policy. The Fed is going to meet again. Will they cut rates or not? Will they lower the rates? You guys let me know down below. But the Federal Reserve, this is without a doubt, they are in hyper QE mode, quantitative easing mode right now. The Fed is printing money. I mean, come on, last night alone, they printed well over $70 billion. They're rigging the debt market. Banks that run the Fed, as I've said, they're buying back the stock market. I do agree with Mannarino on this, and this isn't just my belief. You're entitled to your own, and let's see how this unfolds. But all right, relating to XRP. So you guys might not say this is relating to XRP, but this is related to the cross-border remittance and cross-border payments network as a whole, so absolutely it does. So right here, King Solomon found this, and this is brand new news as of today. Russia, India, and China have decided to connect their financial messaging systems to bypass SWIFT network altogether. And Russia's financial messaging system, SPFS, will be linked with the Chinese cross-border interbank payments system, CIPS, and CIPS. I'm going to refer to it as CIPS. Now, for those of you that do not know, CIPS is kind of like the Chinese version of SWIFT. There's not as much volume, but it's very, very close and comparable. SWIFT, for those of you that don't know, and I'm repeating this for a lot of newcomers that are coming to the space because I realize a lot of people are looking for actual, information on XRP. And guys, I am an XRP bull. Trust me on that. Not financial advice, but I've been doing my research for quite a while, and we are getting ready to explode. So SWIFT basically dominates the world payments network today. 11,000 plus financial institutions, banking partners, you name it. SWIFT is actually not capable to do this, so they have a correspondent banking partner to do this. And we'll go through the kind of comparison between what Ripple has to offer and what SWIFT can do today, and why it really is a no-brainer. If you realize they try to avoid saying XRP, even though XRP and Ripple, the company, sits side by side with the Bank of International Settlements, with the International Monetary Fund, even tight connections with the World Bank. Ripple has been stated by central banks to be working with even the top 40 to 50 governments in the world, and then the top 30 central banks. And for those of you that do not know and continue to doubt it and don't do your own research, the top 30% of the world's top 100 banks are RippleNet partners. Ripple partners. Does that mean they're live with XRP right now? No. But again, keep in mind, we are live with MoneyGram, which is the second largest money transfer service business in the world. We're scaling up day in and day out, and we are seeing volume, but it's minuscule compared to what it'll become. Brian Madigan of Ripple has said, obviously $1 million per day. We're scaling to 10 million, then $100 million a day. And that is the volume. That is what will bring the price and drive the price up in the order books. Right here, Alex Cobb actually has the live stream of these batches, and he's keeping an eye on a few of the exchanges, so CoinsPH, Bitstamp, Bitso transactions, and basically this is by North County Matt, so thanks for sharing the screenshot. And they're not really micropayments anymore. We're growing them substantially. So now these batch transactions have increased from $12,500 US just a few days ago, now to $19,500, so nearing $20,000. So really, XRP payments, whether it's 66,000 XRP here, we've seen 90,000 here, and then even $135,000 or 135,000 XRP being sent in these batch payments. So they're getting larger, which is good to see. Now we need to up that volume and up the frequency when this occurs as well. So they're ramping up. I'm happy when I see those charts as well. So thank you for tracking that. All right. I'm really scatterbrained, but there's just so much information to go over. I feel like I don't have enough time. And guys, like a lot of people, I'm predicting clearly with XRP, at least with the price, we have to set on a daily candle, not a 2-hour, not a 4-hour, on a daily candle. I believe we have to get over the 30 cents or 30.4 cent mark. If we can close above that, I believe it's nothing but green. And I know a lot of other TA experts agree with that. That sentiment, obviously, it should be no surprise. We are truly just mirroring the 2017 bull run. And like a coil, like a slingshot, it's been pulling back and it's tightening and it's ready to go. So what I want to go over is this infographic. This is by status.hr. Great guy, does all kinds of infographics. And I just wanted to show this for any newcomers that have not seen this. And this is a battle for the $150 trillion market now for cross-border payments networks. Now, it's a lot of people's belief that Ripple was merely built to replace Swift altogether. Sometimes I'm not sure. It's very possible that Swift could actually just integrate with R3 and utilize XRP, or they could even do a partnership with Ripple. It doesn't mean that Ripple's just going to own Swift. Again, Ripple's a private company. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it probable? I'm not sure. But regardless, when there's a solution, the company offers benefits that are way, way, way superior to Bitcoin. We're talking 1,000 times more scalable, faster, it's more secure, it's 1,000 times cheaper. It's a no-brainer. So when you bring a good service, a business will adopt it or they'll buy it. You have to realize that governments do not innovate. Startups innovate. Ripple was a startup, multi-billion-dollar startup, I might add, with very close ties to the central banks. Governments adopt the technology. They buy it, they license it. So it's very, very probable I could see Swift, whether they use Ripple or R3, utilize XRP in some manner because they've actually been developing the liquidity. Swift does not have the money or the funds, as we know, to be able to create a competitor. Ripple started, the company at least, in 2012. We are 7 years ahead of any competitors. These governments, these banks are creating their own central bank digital currencies, and they need an agnostic bridge asset on a permissionless ledger to transfer the value. So literally any type of fear, uncertainty, doubt, any FUD comment you have down below, go ahead and, leave it. I'll try to read what I can and address it in the next video. I just don't have time to comment and retort to every little witty comment that doubts this. Please do your own research, guys. I have some guys that comment and they'll say XRP is going to 0. I just take a screenshot and put it in my FUD folder. It's pretty funny. And then I have some guys, oh, well, XRP has to go to 15 cents before going to $1 again. And then I say why, looking for, an actual legitimate reason, or maybe there's some technical analysis behind it. And they just say, gut feeling, bro. And I'm actually looking for some logic. And I know there might not be a lot of logic in a nascent market, but again, all right. So anyways, basically today, Swift has this new product they released, and it's GPI. All right. And really, this is still payment versus settlements. And I've been saying this in a lot of videos, but I just want to repeat myself. Swift is using Swift GPI. This is just a fancy credit and debit solution. So the front end interface shows that the payment is complete, but on the back end, it is not settled. Payment versus settlement. Settlement is really where all the issues lie today with liquidity, with fees, when all of these banks are exchanging money, even with the repo market and the lending. It's literally liquidity has contributed to every single financial crisis ever. No doubt about it. You can go back to 2008, read the government docs. They're all looking for solutions to liquidity. And that is literally what XRP is. Their new products now, they don't even call it XR or XRapid or XCurrent. They call the whole suite. And when they refer to XRapid utilizing XRP, they call it ODL, on-demand liquidity, sourcing liquidity on demand when and where you need it. It's a no-brainer. Why on earth would MasterCard, Visa, all these huge payment networks and groups and governments be spending billions upon billions of dollars into building their own blockchain? And again, to send value on the blockchain, you need a cryptocurrency. They're all building their own coins, their own walled gardens, and then they need an agnostic bridge asset. And XRP, is my belief, is best positioned to do that. It is the third in terms of rank on market cap. It's the fastest, most secure, and the most on-ramps as well. And they work with the system. They're not trying to go against it. They're not anarchists. And to me, I think that this poses is the best opportunity of a lifetime in terms of investments. This is one of the greatest transfers of wealth that we may ever see, at least in my lifetime. But all right, just to go through this comparison, I like this. This is kind of out of date. I know it says October 2019. This infographic was made a little while back, so some of this is outdated in terms of the numbers. But anyways, so RippleNet, company that created the Interledger protocol, which underpins their global payments network. RippleNet, which includes banks, payment providers, and other financial institutions. Back to 2012, as I've said. And then SWIFT GPI, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. SWIFT introduced its GPI Global Payments Innovation Initiative as a way of enhancing cross-border payments processing, mainly because Ripple really just lit a fire under their butt with their X-Current product, and they were actually starting to really scoop up a lot of clients. So SWIFT GPI, it doesn't solve the problem. On the front end, it sounds great. It sounds like they're innovating, but they're not. Again, 46 years ago, this is when this founded. Built pre-internet, pre-digital era, they created this payment system. It takes 3 to 5 days to send a payment, which is absurd when you can send an email. And then even with Amazon now, the logistics of the world, the network, you can send huge freights and packages around the world very, very efficiently. Yet we can't send value when it's settled, at least on the core ledger of these central banks. That's what I'm referring to. I'm not talking about when you Venmo your friend or PayPal and you see the money in your account. It did not settle via the ledger of these central banks. All right, got the CEOs, get the employees. There's a little more employees than that now. Number of clients, closer to like 400 clients, if not way more for Ripple today. MUFG, some of the largest banks in the world. We got some payment providers, some financial institutions, American Express, should be no surprise. We have, almost every bank has done a proof of concept, a POC with Ripple in the past, dating back to like probably, 2015 as well. And I've gone through a lot of those. So check out Bank XRP on YouTube. RippleNet, let's see, source liquidity. It's kind of repetitive. But anyways, right here, instant payment. Yes, instant settlement. SWIFT cannot do that. Settlement means that a core ledger is being updated in real time. Payments are just being sent, but have to be settled on the bank's ledger individually. Boom. Liquidity sourcing. Yes, RippleNet can do that. SWIFT GPI? Hell no. Financial institutions must pre-fund these Nostra Vostra accounts on each side of a transaction in that country's native currency, tying up capital that could be used in more productive ways around the world. Approximately $20 trillion globally is sitting idle in these accounts, sleeping, unable to do anything. And again, these banks, these groups are suffering money due to inflation, opportunity cost, you name it. There's so many capital costs that come with holding these assets and custodying it as well. And again, Asset XRP can be used to lower the cost and improve the speed of liquidity for these cross-border transactions. Ripple's XRapid solution, now on-demand liquidity, ODL, whatever you want to say, uniquely uses XRP to offer on-demand liquidity. Guys, this is literally a $1 trillion problem. You have to look past just mere cross-border because the use cases around the XRP ledger are expanding way beyond that. And that is why some people are extremely bullish. I'm not giving a price prediction. That's pointless long term. Anything can happen, but the longer that this happens, they are literally doing everything that they should be doing as an investor. Real-time settlement, looking at 3 to 5 seconds, even if it was 2 minutes, because sometimes that it can be big deal. Rather than intraday payments, this is payment. This is not settlement. 5 minutes to 24 hours. So they're fixing it a little bit on the payment end, but the settlement is not fixed whatsoever. So yes, in terms of settlement, it still takes them 3 to 5 days. There is a 6% error rate. The payment is oftentimes lost. Then there has to be manual intervention by these groups. Yes, this costs money. This costs, time, you name it. All right. FX rates determined by the bank. And then we got bidirectional messaging communication versus unidirectional. Technology, blockchain, obviously, but RippleNet plus ILP. And ILP is Interledger Protocol. We can actually, with all of the payment networks today, like ACH, Fedwire, they all are in their own ecosystem. And for example, whether it's those payment networks or even blockchains, we need to connect the blockchains or these other types of ledgers and payment systems. So Interledger Protocol, interledger, between ledgers, actually bridges these ledgers so they can communicate as well. And they can use whatever type of cryptocurrency, whatever type of payment, US dollar, gold, whatever you want to tokenize and put on the Interledger Protocol, it can transfer the value. And literally ILP plus XRP is the secret sauce. All right, architecture today, of course, centralized, has to go through the single party, There's a lot of type of, counterparty risk associated with this versus decentralized or a little bit more distributed where there's nodes and a, superior consensus mechanism. And then right here, consensus is the settlement process, and then right here, batch clearing and settlement. Currency, fiat only with Swift. Here, we can do anything, not even just cryptocurrency and fiat, but it can be tokenized metal, real estate, whatever value you want to send on the actual ILP. But I guess regarding this for settlement, you would just use either fiat or cryptocurrency at this time. So I guess that's a bit redundant. But anyways, guys, key features here. We see differences, and then you do see the disadvantages of Ripple, at least what they named. So it is debatable. Now they say volatility of the native asset XRP. That's BS, because mathematically, when you're sending XRP, whether it's 2 minutes or 5 seconds, it is actually less volatile than going through fiat, different forms of fiat, 3 to 5 days in the foreign exchange market. If anybody's traded Forex like I have, you realize how volatile, especially during the weekend, price fluctuations can have, especially with world events and geopolitical tensions. You never know. All right, now this says 4% failure rate. This is Swift GPI. Maybe I was referring to the other one, the original, just Swift Network. So Swift GPI is still being rolled out. They're getting some good clients, which is good to see. And again, innovation is good. Competition is good. It is going to drive more innovation. We need to see that. Nothing is guaranteed at all. But in my eyes, what we need to see happening is happening. And you can't make it too guaranteed because then everybody's going to flood to XRP. All right. Now, I want to finish off showing this, if I haven't lost you guys already. This is Mr. Level Up just sharing this, and I want to show this. So right here, this is on the daily. This is the 2017 boom when we saw the pop. Now, look at this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we popped. Right here, we're on about day 3. So do we have just a few more days? Are we closing in maybe on the 31st that we'll see that boom? This is on the daily. You can see, obviously, the moving averages cross, and we're going to see the same thing occur. Next. Right here. Now, this is on the 2 hour, zoomed in a bit. Now, granted, I know some of you, skeptics can say, well, if you zoom in on any chart, you can find patterns and similarities. Yeah, but they literally mirror each other when you follow along. It is really the same pattern, and that's why I'm paying attention. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but to be completely transparent, guys, I'm both hoping, but from what I'm seeing, I'm getting very, very bullish, and it's crazy that this is all timed with Swell, which is Ripple's annual event. So we got the hills, and he says we're around here, which makes sense as you can see the pattern. So essentially on the 2 hour, it really does look like, and look, we're crossing these moving averages, and then boom. It's looking more and more likely that we will see something. And again, it's kind of what I wanted to do. I made this little yellow bar a while ago. I want to see something before the 11th, but it's very likely that we'll see something around this point too. Unless the market's going to be manipulated, instead of doing the typical pre-swell pump, we'll see a post-swell pump, but I don't believe that quite yet. All right, and then this is the last one I wanted to show you guys. So here we go. So this is literally 2017 and us, and we're put it right together, kind of like ghost mode. So current position of us, and you can kind of see the same spikes, and it's eerily similar, at least right here. And we're going to watch these MAs, these moving averages, and when they cross, boom. So we will see what happens, guys. None of this is financial advice. I want you guys to go check his channel out, watch it, come to your own conclusions. And again, highly recommend you can kind of check him out on Twitter as well. But I watch like 5-6 people regularly, and I kind of come to my own conclusions and develop my own thoughts. But let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you think that this is significant regarding Russia, India, and China actually connecting their financial messaging systems? There's been tons and tons of conspiracies lately with gold and people bypassing Swift and updates, and especially with all this economic and political tension going on. There's just a lot going on, guys. Like, I'm personally just like amazed by this. And this is just for fun, but right here in the article, it literally says 400 users are participating in the system. Agreements have already been concluded with 8 foreign banks and 34 legal entities. And then the director of the Bank of Russia's national payment system was cited saying this. And that was really funny, and I was just kind of goofing around because I know Brad Garlinghouse was congratulated by a former person at the Fed, and they said congrats on the 400 new customers. Why would they say new customers? So I was just goofing around. I was like, hey, 400 new customers, acting like they're referring to this. That is not what I believe. I'm being sarcastic on Twitter. I like to joke around. But again, it was kind of, I know Brad addressed this, but it does make one wonder. And I know that they will be announcing some things at Swell, perhaps some large banks, maybe, obviously, I believe, a bunch of more payment corridors. We will see, because they were saying that they were signing what? So many production contracts, 2 or 3 a week. And when you do the math, they should be a lot closer to 400 customers rather than 250 customers, which they've been staying at that figure for a while, but then saying that business is booming. So I think that they have a lot in store for us. And another thing to consider is, what do they consider a customer? Is that just someone using RippleNet in some manner? What about the customers of their customers? There's network effects. And then with Pareto's law, which is the 80-20 principle, with Swift, you're saying that 11,000 clients. Well, okay, you're saying 20% of that owns 80% of all the volume. So really, Ripple should just target the top 20% of them. Instead of all 11,000, just target the top 20%. And that would be 80% of the work. So there's so much going into this, guys. The space is evolving quickly. There's a lot going on. And yes, you do have to speculate in a speculative market. So with that, guys, I've been rambling for a while. Hopefully it wasn't too over your head if you're a newcomer, and I'll see you in the next video.